even as the 80 minutes are almost up, there's still time for one more voiceover, but no real, everyday life, practical use of minimalism. Hi there, my name is Armir, and I'm a minimalist. Today, I'm doing something a little bit different. I have no script this time, just some notes in front of me, lots of notes. So there'll probably be some mumbles and fumbles and probably lots of jump cuts. Doing it live, keeping it casual, keeping it cash, C-A-Z-H. So, first things first, how did I get into minimalism? Well, I saw the Minimalist's TED speech, probably over 5 years ago, maybe longer. And it was inspiring, but it wasn't really the catalyst in downsizing my stuff. Marie Kondo's book was, which addresses one very important question, a question which I'll dedicate the whole video to. Now, although I had lots of stuff to begin with, it was still a lot less than most of my friends had, and still has. I don't know why, but I decided to look up the Minimalist's TED speech again. I listened to their speech again, and through their speech, I found out about the podcast, and I got hooked on the podcast. And then through the podcast, I found out about the documentary they were making. At the time, the only way to see this, well, in my city anyway, was if enough people bought tickets in advance. So I was asking anyone and everyone I knew, even people I hadn't spoken to in ages, to buy tickets to go see this thing so that it would be screened at this theater. Before I state my opinion, I just want to clarify that this isn't supposed to make you go watch it or not watch it, but I do think it's best if you do go watch it and make up your own mind about it. So, first, the documentary is beautifully shot and scored. It's also edited very well, but very randomly.
So much of our life is lived in a fog.
They do say, they, being the minimalists, that they're not trying to convert anyone, they're just sharing a recipe. They're true to that. It doesn't feel like they're trying to convert anyone or trying to get people to get rid of their stuff. They're just sharing what has worked for them and for a lot of other people.
I think people buy because they're trying to fulfill this void inside of them.
In other words, deep down, we don't really want more goodies, more toys, more cars. We want what they will bring us.
We're going to have to give up a lot. The secret is that a lot of that we're not actually going to miss.
At around this mark, the music was becoming a little bit more upbeat, and I thought the doc would take a turn here and start to show the practical side of minimalism. Show us how these people are living better lives after getting rid of most of their stuff, rather than deprived lives, which is what most people think of when they think of minimalism. Instead, they show Colin and his homeless lifestyle.
It has been like 4+ years that I've technically been homeless, though I go to new countries and rent flats, so it's maybe in between homes, or maybe home full. I just have a lot of homes.
It does look like money can buy happiness in some sense. In global research, below $70,000 US a year, adding greater material well-being is linked to greater psychological well-being. But when you start pushing past that rough threshold, money doesn't buy happiness.
Jim Carrey has a quote where he says, "I wish everyone could become rich and famous so they could realize it's not the answer." The first response is always this: well, it's easy for Jim Carrey to say. He's rich and famous, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, who else could say that?
And although I agree with that, I've never heard of anyone who decides to give up any money that they make beyond 70,000, or maybe it's a little bit higher now. And maybe there are some people, but I guess they're not known for it.
So Project 333, the challenge for me was to wear 33 items for 3 months. and the 33 items included clothing, jewelry, accessories, and shoes.
This was the only part where they showed a somewhat practical side of minimalism.
I love watching how it's spreading like wildfire and in a good way. It's like a good plague.
Yeah, no, it's hardly spreading. Unless, of course, you're just in your own minimalist bubble with your minimalist buddies. Then yeah, it may seem like it's spreading.
I remember going through getting rid of things and finally saying, okay,
So when they
Sam,
finally
let's
get to
go
show Becker's place, I thought they were finally going to show the practical side of minimalism. But nope. They barely focused on his family and their minimalist lifestyle, which is sad because most people are in the same boat. They have a spouse and kids, and to them, getting rid of most of their stuff may seem like a nightmare. But it's obviously not. I would have liked to see people talking about what it's like waking up in the morning or returning home from work and seeing their house looking rather empty. What was their thought process when they got rid of their stuff? How did they know they're not going to regret giving so much stuff away? How did they deal with the fact that they were literally throwing their money away since they did pay money for that stuff? How did they deal with the emotional attachment to the stuff? I have found, in my experience, that those are the most common questions people have when they discover minimalism. And this documentary didn't spend a single second addressing any of those questions. I just find it ironic that they talk about, they being the minimalists, talk about getting rid of stuff, but this whole documentary is basically a promo for their book, another item to bring into your home.
But even while Rome is burning, there's somehow time for shopping at IKEA.
If you like this video, please subscribe. I have a whole series already prepared on just the topic of minimalism, with the next video being about why I'm better than you at minimalism.